Myself, I'm Ratna Bhushan, a friend, motivator, and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CEO, coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Welcome to ASGIS. ASGIS believe in quality, commitment, and success, the leading institute for IAS preparation. General Studies Mains Paper 1998. General Studies Mains Paper 1998, Part 1. The question is, did Jawaharlal Nehru really speak the language of Mahatma Gandhi? Did Jawaharlal Nehru really speak the language of Mahatma Gandhi? Locate the points of their agreements and departures. Jawaharlal Nehru entered Indian political scene by being the first person to signature on the Satyagraha Declaration of Mahatma Gandhi after the Jallianwala Bagh incident in 1919. And I would like to share one more thing, that for the first time Jawaharlal Nehru met Mahatma Gandhi in the Lucknow session 1916, in which A.C. Majumdar was the Congress president. He respected Mahatma Gandhi from the depth of his heart. He had believed in Gandhi's leadership, both work for the freedom of India. Jawaharlal Nehru was agree with Gandhi's emphasis on rural development, mass movement, and active participation of rural people in national movement. He also followed the decision of civil disobedience movement by Mahatma Gandhi, non-cooperation movement, individual satyagraha movement, and he was the second individual satyagrahi. First one was Vinoba Bhave. Constructive works, boycott and Swadeshi were also the points of their agreement. But apart from this large sphere of agreement, he deviated from Gandhian concept. He opposed Mahatma Gandhi's decision of withdrawal of disobedience movement. He did not agree with the methods of movement and in trusteeship of the British concept. He also departed from Gandhian concept of economy without heavy industry. He inclined towards socialistic pattern of economy. He accepted the decision of partition of India and Pakistan. He emphasized scientific development in India and the concept of Mahatma Gandhi, only practical and basic education. He also did not match with the concept of Nehru. Nehru did not want religion to be believed with politics. All these points were of their departure, yet both worked together for the independence of India. Nehru respected Mahatma Gandhi very much. He never changed his ideas about politics, economics, or education to speak the language of Mahatma Gandhi. Question number 2. How did economic nationalism mirror the work of early nationalist leadership in India? How did economic nationalism mirror the work of early nationalist leadership in India? How did economic nationalism mirror the work of early nationalist leadership in India? The early nationalist leadership to arouse nationalism among the people and to expose the nature of the British rule in India took help of economic nationalism among the various other methods. Dadabhai Nehru, through his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, exposed the British on the world level. Other interests of Indian publics were divided in many respects, so they emphasized on the common grievances. Dadabhai Nehru, the grand old man of India, in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, exposed the nature of economic exploitation of India by British rule. He first time gave the drain of wealth theory in his book to the nation. How British policy aimed at encouraging and promoting industrial growth of England at the cost of India was explained by him. Day to day, worsening were because of British. Indian handicraft, agriculture, trade and commerce, villages, etc. were ruined due to the governmental bias and trade concession to the British industry. Not only in his book by Nehru, but Ramesh Chandra Dutt, R.C. Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, R.C. Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, in his book Economic History of British India, 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 wrote the Indian condition of economy in 3 divisions. He exposed how exploitative policy implementation and investment led India to be a subordinated position dependent upon the imports from Britain, to which once India exported. He concluded that British industrialized by exploitation of India. All these leaders, including Firoz Shah Mehta, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Tilak, Hassan Banerjee, etc., propagated in the same manner the economic nationalism as a part of nationalist movement in its early phase. They attempted to connect the whole country together in the struggle for freedom. Question number 3. Why did moderates lose appeal with the Indians and fail to elicit desired response from the British? Why did the moderates lose appeal with the Indians and fail to elicit desired response from the British? Why did the moderate lose appeal with the Indians and fail to elicit desired response from the British? The answer is, the moderates lose appeal with the Indians due to the following reason. Number 1, their method. They believed in the constitutional method for their demands within the limits of law. Resolution, petition and public meetings, and that is Congress in the moderate early phase. They believe in 3 P's: prayer, petition and persuasion. Public meetings did not produce any desired fruits. Public started to regard their method as a begging and derogatory to the dignity of India, and to the involvement of the masses. They believed that time had come for mass movement. Their mass movement remained limited to the educated class only. People could not participate in constitutional and lawful method of protest. And third, rise of extremists. There arose feelings of the direct protest, self-reliance and constructive programs in people to involve them in direct movement. Their influence faded away moderates. Even they could not elicit desired response from the British because of their minority, non-involvement of the masses, believe in British to be just. They failed to recognize intentions of British and government continued to exploit India. The next question is question number 4. How did the policy of free trade hurt Indian textile industry and crafts in later half of the 19th century? How did the policy of free trade hurt Indian textile industry and crafts in the later half of the 19th century? How did the policy of free trade hurt Indian textile industry and crafts in the later half of the 19th century? The growth of capitalism in the world and especially in England led to a large-scale manufactured production capacity. This in turn required big markets to sell produced goods. It was also necessary to have enough raw material. To fulfill these requirements of raw material and markets, capitalists pressurized parliamentarians to eliminate a monopoly of the East India Company and introduce free trade policy in India. The Charter Act 1813 was the result of this effect. Then manufactured cotton textile was started to stake in the Indian market, and Indian rural weavers and cottage industry could not compete against them. Indian textile industry, which was a big exporter once, became an importer of cotton textile. This free trade policy in the later half of the 19th century gave its better fruits to turn self-reliant villages into worker groups of companies. Their small industries were no more in existence. Indian economy was exploited by this policy. Railways also helped to reach these goods in every nook and corner of the country to affect them also. As a result, foreign imported goods started to rule the market.